Yo, 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 mic check 1 2 1 2. I hope all my people come back. Hey, Parker, y'all like the video again, please. You guys gave me a shitload of likes. Hi, Ada. Hi, everybody. Please like the video. I lost all those likes. Yeah, I'm fucking mad. I'm gonna wait till y'all like my video. I'm not playing with y'all. I appreciate you guys all coming back to see me. Hey, Tarina. Hey, Ada, Cinnamon, Mia. Hi, Nene, Sarah, Bridge, Yukida, Jessica, Mommy. I can't believe you guys are able to make it. Thank you, y'all. You love me. You really, really love me. Hey, Erica. She says, hey, my love and miracle worker. Yeah. So let me repeat what happened to me. Thank you guys for liking the video. Thank you, thank you. I love you guys so effing. Yes, everybody came back. I love you guys. So yes. So I tried to use that YouTube editor thing just to see like what it was all about because it's a new thing. And wouldn't you know, I deleted the whole fucking video. I hate. Anyways, and there's like no help for us YouTubers from YouTube. Well, we're just the only one. We're the ones making the content. They have no customer service or anything, motherfuckers. So anyway, now I can see your comments. I don't know what the hell was the problem before. Hi, Wendy. Hello, Pure Venus, Gabriella. If I missed your name, y'all, please don't be mad at me. Okay, so I'm sorry for those of you who were here last night that this is pretty much a repeat because I didn't want anybody to miss the information because it's very, very good information. Okay, it's very, very important. Love spells and psychology and why they work hand in hand. Hey, Random. Yes, Random. I told you, girl, my readings are always right. I never am wrong. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. You know, Arabs have been knocking on wood for like the beginning of time. That's what they say. But that's an Arab thing, actually. So anyway, okay. So why is it important to act right when you're doing love work? So let's start with some examples of reconciliation work first, okay? Because I would say that's about 70% of the love work people do. Then the rest is binding, binding dicks so that it doesn't fuck someone else or, whatever. Okay, so reconciliation. Why is it important to use your psychology? Well, you have to understand this is manipulation of energy. That's what we're doing, okay? So it's like you have a ball of dough. I use this example. I'm going to probably sound like exactly how I did last night. So for any of you guys that don't want to hear a repeat, you might not want to watch this video, but do it just for me anyway. So you have a ball of dough, right? And you can manipulate that shit. Or like a thing of cookies, like cookie dough. You could manipulate it and turn it into hearts or turn it into whatever. That's essentially what you're doing with magic, okay? You're manipulating, you're attracting, okay? So basically, when you're doing a love spell, you're turning, the goal is to make the person attractive. It's like making them a magnet, okay? So you're not only going to attract, the goal is to attract the target, but you're going to attract others. So a lot of you will notice, and this is, I always like take notes from what my clients tell me, kind of like just get feedback and stuff. And I want to say 90% of them are like, everywhere I go, like guys are trying to holler at me, or girls are trying to holler at me, or they're staring at me, or whatever, but I just want this person. Okay. Because the universe is giving you options, for one. For two, it's attraction work. So that's the whole point. Unfortunately, some people have asked me, hi, Cammie. Some people have asked me, can you make it stop? Like, can you make it to where, they stop trying to hit on me and stuff? And no, there's really no way for me to, the whole point is attraction. So you're going to attract, okay? So it's important to know how to react to those situations, for one. Now, with reconciliation work, okay, sometimes the target will call and I'm not going to let my clients answer them. Okay, see, you have to give them space. Let them miss you. Okay, definitely don't be blowing up their phones, their text messages, their emails, their Facebook, whatever. And here's the thing that pisses me off. A lot of people lie to me. And you know what's funny? I will sit there and I will pretend like I completely believe you. I will go right along with it. So you're never going to know if I actually know or not. But guess what? I always know. But I'm not going, what am I going to say? I'm going to sit there, call you a liar? No. I'm just going to be like, well, okay, you made a mistake. What I'm going to say to you is, so you're telling me that you've been following the rules this entire time, and I'm just going to see how far you'll take that lie. Okay, but just know, hey, AW, boo. Thank you, girl. Not as pretty as you. But I always know when motherfuckers lie to me. So I gave this example. Some people are honest, though. I'll give them credit. Most people are honest and they're upfront, even if they're afraid because y'all gonna get cussed out straight up. You tell me, oh, I did exactly what the fuck you told me not to do, I'm gonna curse you out. Okay, and they know it, but at least they're honest. And I had one. Actually, this happened to me quite a few times, but this one in particular was very recent. And he emails me and he said, oh, I had contact with so-and-so. I'll stop contact next week. So you're telling me I told you not to do something. You did it when I tell you don't have contact with the bitch. Don't call the bitch. You're telling me you just did the opposite. And you're going to do it next week. You're going to follow my rules next week. Sometimes you get one shot. Sometimes you get one fucking shot, okay? It's like, and I used this example last night when I made a video. It's like sometimes like fishing, okay? You get that fish on the line, you better hook that bitch and reel it in, okay? If that fish gets off the line, you're going to have a hard time getting that same fish back on the line. You may get another fish, but to get that same exact fish, you may have a hard time. It depends on the circumstances. Sometimes you got one shot. All right. People think just because they're doing magic or they're doing spells, because a lot of people are powerful for their own work. Okay. It's one thing to manifest for yourself, but it's a whole different thing to manifest for other people. You have to be really, really strong to manifest for other people. Okay. That's why you see a lot of witches whose track records are shit. Okay. But the thing is, and like I said, nobody's perfect. Nobody has a perfect track record. But that's why you have witches that have badass track records. And you have witches that have mediocre track records. They're shit, just completely shit track records. Okay? Now, totally lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Yeah, so sometimes you only have that one shot. And if you fuck it up right then and there, oh, no, that's not what I was saying. Okay, so some people are really powerful with their own magic, right? So they think just because the spell is working that they can do whatever the fuck they want. Okay, so they're like, oh, okay, he's calling me, she's calling me, whatever. Now I could be a bitch. I could say whatever the fuck I want. I could blow up their phone. I could be a little needy cunt. I could do this and that. And if you don't like cursing, get the fuck off my channel. You're not in the right place. But that's not the case. Just when you start to see the spell working, you better be on your P's and Q's. You better understand that this is energy. Okay? You're manipulating energy. You're not forcing their free will. And as I was saying last night, sometimes it's the witch's fault for like naming our spells certain things. Like I have a spell called Bring Them Crawling to Your Feet. And the things I'm saying in the spell, you know, that's putting an energy out there. It doesn't always literally mean that motherfucker's going to come crawling on their feet. Some people are too literal. You have to understand, you're putting an energy out there. Words carry vibration. Words are powerful. So when you're saying you're going to be her bitch, you know, you're going to do this, that's putting that energy out there and trying to get it, as much of that to absorb it as you can. That's why you say it with gusto. But that doesn't necessarily mean the motherfucker's going to crawl on their knees. No, it depends on the will of the person. Okay, your goal is to get that person back, however way it happens. Okay, the goal is to get that person back. But you have to use your vibration has to match the vibration you're putting out there. So if you're putting out a vibration of I miss you, I want you, you know, or you know, miss me, love me, want me, be with me, your vibration has to match that. Your vibration can't be, when are you gonna come? I miss you. Oh, I'm gonna blow up your phone 1,000,000 times. Oh, who are you with? Who are you fucking? It's not. No, because how are you gonna miss someone like that? How? You know you have them, and you girls know. Y'all know, okay, when you got a guy on lock, it's like, okay, I can put him on the back burner real quick because you know you got him on lock. You're on your high horse. You know no matter what you do or don't do, that motherfucker's still going to be there. Okay? So you got to give them their space. Allow that energy to manifest. Okay, so if you're sending out that energy, you want them to miss you, back the fuck up. Okay, that's pretty simple. Now, attracting a new lover, a new person. Those are easy, and I love those. Those are my favorite. Okay, attracting a new soulmate. Well, that doesn't mean you can just, okay, you attract the perfect guy, and you meet the guy, and you're like, oh, you know, okay, so this guy just came in my life, so I could just act any type of way. No, bitch, no. Okay, be yourself, but you can be yourself. I don't want to make it sound like you have to completely change who you are. That's not the case. Okay, but be mysterious. Okay, like, okay, so first of all, rule number 1, when you attract that person, let's say you meet this perfect guy on Tinder or some shit, right? And put yourself, don't expect to do a soulmate spell and then just sit in your fucking house and expect that guy just to come deliver your pizza or some shit. Okay, it can happen that way, but it's gonna take much longer. You have to, like, I'm not saying throw yourself out there, but like go out, you know, go to bars, go to restaurants, go whatever, go on apps, whatever. That's how people meet these days. You have to keep with the time. Okay, so let's say you meet this guy on Tinder, right? He's really cute, you have good conversation, blah, blah, blah. You did a spell to attract this guy, right? He asked you to hang out. Rule number 1. Hey, Tina, I miss you too, Bill. Sorry, I had to say hi to my girl, Tina. Rule number 1, and this is a very important rule, and don't you ever fucking forget this rule. Never, I repeat, never accept the first offer to go on a date. Never. Case in point, right? And this is probably the minimal of the work that I get, but I want to cover everybody. And this is for girls that are trying to meet you guys and trying to lock them in. Okay, so you have good conversation on Tinder, blah, blah, blah. Now it's time. It's like, oh, you never, first of all, you should never be the one to say, oh, you know, I want to go out on a date or let's hang out. You never recommend that shit. If a man wants to hang out with you, believe me, he's going to ask you. All right. For a man, it's different. If you're a man, of course, you have to be the one to ask. That's just the way it is. But this is for the women. When he brings it up, and only when he brings it up, your answer to him is, let's say he says, oh, let's hang out on Saturday. Your answer is, actually, I can't make it on Saturday, but we could definitely do it for fill in the blank, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, next Saturday. Okay, you can suggest another day. I don't care if you ain't got shit to do but sit home and eat bonbons and watch Golden Girls. I don't give a fuck. You're busy that day. Why? Why do you do this? because you're putting this is all subliminal. And this is why I tell you it goes hand in hand with the magic. You're subliminally telling this guy, well, she's not going to cancel her plans with her friends just to hang out with me. So subliminally, you're telling him that you're a high value woman, that you're not desperate, and you're not going to break plans that you already made with other people in order. But Shireen, why? In order, what if you're masculine? Girl, I know, I got to cover, that's a good point, because I do got to cover my lesbian girls, my studs, and my lipstick les. I do got to cover those too. Thank you for bringing that up, because it's true. I have gay clients, I have straight clients, I have trans clients, I have all types of clients. So I do want to make sure I get everybody. Okay. So basically, subliminally, you're putting into their head that you value your friendships, you value yourself, and that you're not, because you're going to say, I have plans with my friends, or I have plans with my cousin, whatever. And you value them enough in their time not to break them just to go hang out with him. Because you wouldn't believe the amount of women that will just drop everything to be like, okay, this guy's so fine, blah, blah, blah. He drives a nice car, and blah, blah, blah. And I want to hang out with him, and break their real plans to go hang out with them. That says you're desperate, and you definitely don't want that. Okay, so that's just in real life. Okay, now, so for that part, okay, so now let's cover binding. So we did reconciliation, and the rule with that is your ass needs to stay the fuck up from around them. Don't blow up their phones, don't blow up their texts. Oh, and don't stalk their page from your own page, because I'm promising you this. There is an app out there that I personally tried, and it does work, and you can see who stalks your page. Okay? So, just don't do it. I ain't got no makeup on right now, y'all, but I'm still fly. That brings me to another point. Now, got my coffee here. Be confident. Okay, so let me just back up. I guess from like, my brain goes a million miles a minute. All right, back up. Okay, so reconciliation, the stalking. Silent stalking is okay, but make sure you do it from like a totally random page. Okay? Don't make it too obvious. All right? And don't let your friends look at their stories and think that they're not going to know that shit's for you. All right? Now, my people that have fucked up multiple times, you know, I'm being honest with you. I get really sick of that shit because it's not really fair to me. Because when I'm doing work, and you're supposed to work with me, not against me. And it's not fair for you to say, oh, Shireen, but I did this. You know, sorry, I fucked up. It's like, you're just like, oh, it's no big deal. Like, I've been working on the shit for 3 weeks, and you decide to, you know, put me back to square one. Or I've had people do it when I've been working on it for longer than that and put me back to square one. But then they want to count to that 90th day. Every time you fuck up, baby, you're putting it back to square one. And you're making it more difficult. Because don't forget, this is energy. Over time, it will fade. Okay? You're not supposed to rely on magic to keep your fucking relationship. A binding is a binding. The goal is to keep it. It doesn't mean you're not going to break up. This is an example. It means you'll always find your way back together. That's the purpose of it. But people have free will. No matter what, they have free will. So you don't get to take that free will from them. I don't get to take that free will from them. I can manipulate it. I can twist it, turn it, stretch it, bend it over, slap it, but I can't fucking force it. So, you know, over time, you keep fucking up. Like I said, sometimes you get that one chance. That one chance, especially when it's a situation where you're really manipulating that shit, where there's very little to manipulate, you know, like you're grasping at straws because this person really just is over you, or just just so disgusted by you at this point that you're really like, and then you fuck it up. No, that's not cool. Or tell me, oh, I'll do what you say later. I literally had somebody 3 months in. Now they want it. The whole time they weren't doing what I was saying, lying to me about it, thinking I didn't know. And then 3 months in, then they said, oh, now I want to follow directions. Well, now it's too fucking late. It's your money. That's what I said. It's your money at the end of the day. So you don't want to listen? I don't make the rules to hear myself talk. I don't make rules just to make rules, just to restrict you guys. If there wasn't a purpose behind it, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't say it. It would be wasting my fucking breath. Okay? So if I'm telling you not to do something or to do something, you better fucking listen. Period. Don't waste my time. Because I don't care, getting paid for it or not, you're still wasting my fucking time. Because I worry about my track record too at the end of the day. People fuck up my track record, I'm going to be pissed. And that's not good for anybody. So anyways, so we covered that reconciliation. Now with the binding, and if you guys have questions, I can't look at the comments because if I see a fucking troll and I get distracted like I did last night cussing somebody out, I'm going to be pissed. I'm trying not to look. I'll look at the end. Okay? So, the binding. So, say you have a relationship, right? And you're trying to bind it. Now, if you're going to a professional or even if you're doing it yourself, you're probably having trouble in paradise if you feel the need that you have to protect your relationship. Unless you're smart enough, which most people are not, unless they are a witch. You should be smart enough to do that shit before there's trouble in paradise. Bind it when you're in a good place. You can still bind it even if you're like arguing, as long as you're still together. I don't recommend binding someone when you're broken up. Okay? But, so while you're doing it, you're going to want to be calm. Don't start fucking arguing with the person all the time over any little thing. Don't start going through their phone. First of all, you shouldn't be looking for something you really don't want to find anyway. Okay? Move in silence. If you know they're up to no good, banish that hoe. Work magic on it. Don't go through the phone or hack through his shit or whatever the case is and then get mad at what you find. Okay? Try to keep it on a positive vibration. Use your psychology. Cook for him. I'm not saying kiss his ass, but like men like nurturing women. But see, it's all about balance. Okay? Don't be too like his mother. All right? Nobody wants to fuck their mother. All right? Actually, according to the Oedipus complex thing, anyway, that's a whole different subject. But so basically, men like nurturing women. Okay, so, oh, baby, had a nice day. How are you? This is their head. Oh, you're doing, give them kisses, like, stuff like that. But don't smother them, Every man likes a nurturing woman, period. But like I said, you have to find that perfect balance. You have to find balance in everything. You don't want to go overboard, and you don't want to be too cold. A lot of women have an issue with that, Some women are just not affectionate. Try your best, but you don't have to go overboard, like I said. Okay, so when you're doing the binding, make sure you keep it on a positive level and use your psychology. If he wants to go out with his friends, even if in the back of your mind you think if he's going out with another bitch, there's no point arguing. What's the point of arguing? He's probably going to get out the door faster because he's going to want to get away from you. And it doesn't, if you're working on him, listen, this applies if you're doing work or not. Okay? If you want to stay with the motherfucker that is cheating on you or whatever, then this is what you have to deal with. Me personally, I would tell that motherfucker to kick rocks and go eat a dick from the back and sideways. But this is, obviously most people want to save their relationships, whatever the case is. Okay, so this is what it is. You don't like what I'm telling you, then I don't know what else to tell you. So, wait, what? Yeah, Tina's my boo. Tina's my girl. But anyway, so so you're not going to want to fight and argue and this and that while you're trying to do a binding. And when you do a binding, you're going to want to sweeten them up. Use a lot of sugar, honey, maple syrup, whatever, depending on what deity you're working with. But you just want to keep it at a sweet, positive vibration. And if you guys have been fighting a lot, and that's why you're doing the binding, there's really only a few reasons why people do bindings. One, they're afraid to lose their man to another woman. Two, that's the main one. Two, they've been fighting a lot or whatever. He's been leaving the house a lot, and they want to protect their relationship. And three, just insecurity in general. Okay, so you're in that situation. Like I said, if you're serious about someone, you want to be with them the rest of your life, you're married, I suggest bind now while you're not fighting, while you're good. Okay? Now, keep the energy positive. Also, give him some space. Okay, because what we tend to do as women, especially, and I don't want to just only focus on the women, I want to focus on the men too. Even though most of my clients are women, but I do have some male clients. We'll get to that. Now, the number one reason why people break up is anxiety. Okay? So, in other words, what happens is someone starts to pull away from you. And this is especially with women. Someone starts to pull away from you and you panic. So what do? You start lashing out, like being, just giving them nasty looks, start, getting clingy. Oh, where are you going? What are you doing? You try to pick fights because that's subconsciously, that's our way of trying to reconnect with them, because we're like, what the fuck? He's like slipping away from me, so let me just fight with him to see if he still cares, type of thing. We act irrational. Men too, actually. So, because of that irrational behavior, that's what finally causes us to be like, all right, we're done, okay? Now, so whenever you start to basically just control your emotions, that's the main thing. I know that's hard for a lot of us, okay? Especially certain signs like Pisces. Pisces have a really hard time with that shit. Water signs in general. Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. All right. Very hard at controlling their emotions. Okay, now me being a Sagittarius, I'm just like, I don't give a fuck. You could be here today, gone tomorrow. I personally like being single. Like, I like my alone time. Those are the days, boy. Those are the days. I love long distance relationships because of that. Anyway, that's fire signs are just like, especially Sag, we're just like, whatever, unless you're on the cusp. But anyway, so, and let me tell you something. Men tend to be very attracted to an independent woman, a woman who doesn't really need a man to make her complete. So try, even though you may not feel like that, try to exude that. Okay, but don't be obvious about it. I'm trying to like explain to you in such a way where you guys understand, like, do these things while you're working on somebody, or even if you're not. This is helpful just across the board. This can never hurt you in any way, but it's really helpful when you combine these, I don't want to say tactics, because this is psychology. This is the way the human mind works, okay? When you combine that with magic, you're manipulating them energetically, and then you're manipulating them spiritually. So the combination of the two is like, one of my clients, what do they call it? Magic on steroids. Okay, because you're, and I hate to say this, but like sometimes you have to manipulate in order to have the relationship that you're wanting. Okay, but a lot of people, oh, I don't want to play games, and I just want to da 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 da. It's not really playing games. It's science. This is science. I didn't make the fucking rules. I didn't create man. I'm just explaining to you. You take the advice or not. Okay. Now, so when you break up, here's another thing I want to talk about. Let's talk about men and women and the differences. Okay, so some women can be guilted into taking a man back by using guilt, by feeling sorry for him or worrying about their emotional well-being. Like, say we break up with the guy and he, he starts putting off that energy like he's gonna hurt himself, or we're disgusted deep down on the inside, but we'll stay with him out of pity. This is not the way you want to keep your woman. Okay, women don't reward weak behavior. Okay, we may stay with that guy just, make sure he doesn't kill himself or something like that, but it's not out of the real reasons why you want to stay with the guy. So if you're a man, just try not to be weak. Okay, women don't like a weak bitch. Sorry to say it like that, but it is what it is. They do not like a weak ass bitch, man. Okay, we like to feel safe. We like to feel protected. We like to feel, But and if you're gonna cry, which I like when a man cries a little bit, like with just like little tears rolling down, that's cool. But when you start making noise with that shit, like over dramatizing it, like over exaggerating it, no, that disgusts me. And most women would agree. They're like, slobbering and shit. Like, ew, no. Little rolling tears, that's cute. So you don't try to overdo it to try to like get the woman to, because that's just gonna gross her the fuck out. Now women, sometimes, like, okay, and this is the only time I recommend this. If a guy breaks up with you, right? And you did something really wrong, like you called his mama a hoe, or you cheated on him, or you did something really bad that you were in the wrong. It's okay to kind of submit yourself a little bit, because guys kind of like submission from a woman when she's wrong. So it's okay to be like, baby, I really am sorry. I apologize. Like, maybe shed a tear too. I'm sorry I cheated on you. I'm sorry I did that. Whatever. Okay, but only once. If he doesn't accept that, say, okay, I respect what you say. I give you your space. Okay. Only if you did something wrong. Otherwise, if a guy breaks up with you, you agree with that shit. If a guy ends it with you, says, oh, I don't think we need to be together anymore, your answer is always, you know what? I think you're right about that, actually. I was thinking the same thing. I just didn't know how to say it. I really do think that we would be better off just being, taking our space. That's going to throw that motherfucker in such a loop. It's ridiculous. Now, everything varies, okay? Like, this is kind of like a template, but every case is different. Every situation is different. That's why it's on a case-by-case basis. You got to really know, where you're at. It's like a scale. It's like this, what do they call it? Like a sliding scale. All right? Like, there's differences for long distance. There's differences, like, if you live together. It's different if you have kids together. There's a lot of variables, but this is just like kind of broad spectrum, coaching advice. And trust me, just trust me, I'm a pro. I'm a professional. Okay? So, that ugly cry. Girl, please, please. And don't be making phone calls at inappropriate times in the morning. Like, don't do that. That is so irritating. Getting a call at like 4:30 in the morning. Like, are you fucking kidding me, bro? I'm sleeping. Or I just literally, I get done working around that time. Maybe I want to sleep. Okay, you calling me at 4:30 in the morning? Are you bugging? Is you bugging? The fuck? Inconsiderate. And I just literally fell asleep too. I don't know why it just made me think about that shit. Don't call at inappropriate times in the morning. That shit's disrespectful. It makes you look like crazy. That ugly cry. AW said that's just so. I'm getting flashbacks. I'm cracking up over here. We Sagittarius, man. Some of us have no chill. Like, we're just like typical fire. I'm 100. I should be a triple Sag, but I'm not. But I should be. I really should be. Okay, so y'all. Melanie says, listen to Shireen about that. Before I met Shireen, I begged and begged him over and over for 2 months straight. Do not do it. Yes. And that's hard to come back from. It's hard to come back from. Once you, because basically they lose that respect for you. You know, once you show that side of like complete vulnerability, it's okay to show it a little bit, to be vulnerable. It's okay to be vulnerable. Aw, thank you. Whoever said I have a cute dog racing angel, thank you. But once you like past that point of no return where it's like they just completely lose respect for you, and it gets to the point where it's like there's just almost no way to come back to it. I mean, not to say there's no way, but it's like you have to work to kind of gain that respect back. Because think about it. Put yourself in that situation. You know, somebody like begging and crying and stuff like that. It's not attractive. You know, even men and women both like strong, like strength, independence. Not too much. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be nurturing. But it's like I said, everything is a balancing act. Also, let me talk about this really quick. So whether you're doing work for yourself, whether you're getting work done, okay, it's important to keep note and tell your practitioner when things are going well as when they're not. Because some people, like, I'll only hear from them when they get into an argument or if things have been quiet, because somebody's not going to blow you up 24/7. Okay, what's the natural progression is they will stop just to get a response from you. Because somebody's talking to them, they're like, you know, I'm saying, oh, bro, stop calling her, make her call you. So that's what they do. Okay, so don't panic when that happens. Give your shit time to manifest. Okay, and don't panic when they're not blowing you up or, you know, it goes quiet for a little bit. And don't just tell your practitioner when that's the case. Because, of course, we don't get updates when they're getting flowers or when they're, like, I just had one yesterday, as a matter of fact. She popped into my head, right? And I'm like, and I swear I feel my clients. I'll think about them and they'll either message me or I'll message them or whatever. And it's always something that I need to talk to them about. So she popped into my head and I'm like, I haven't heard from her in a while. I was like, let me check in with her. I was like, I already knew. I was like, I didn't hear from her, so they're back together. I already know. So, because the testimonials that you guys see, that's like tip of the iceberg. Not everybody leaves anyone, believe me or not. And the only reason my reputation speaks for itself already. The only reason that I still make sure to keep posting whenever I get one is because, and sometimes I forget, sometimes I don't post that shit for months later, but for my other clients that I just got or whatever, my new clients, to have that it uplifts them, it helps them. So that's the only reason, not for me. My reputation is what it is already, speaks for itself, but it's for you guys. So you feel like, oh, it worked for them, I know it's going to work for me. That's why I do it. But anyway, so I thought of her and I'm like, oh, I already know I didn't hear from her. So I know they're back together, but let me just check on her. Email her, I hit her up. Hey girl, I haven't heard from you. How are things going? And you know who I'm talking about if you're watching. Okay. Anyways, calling you out. So I get an email back days later, and she's like, hey girl, how's it going? Oh yeah, he came back. So you didn't think maybe I wanted to know that? Like, of course I wanted to know that, because I like to, I have a book of shadows, and I like to put what works well for a male that is age range this to this and is white or Hispanic, because everybody's different, and race has a lot to do with it, your bloodline has a lot to do with it, your ancestry has a lot to do with it. So some things work better on white, younger, or middle-aged men than it works for Spanish younger men. Like, it's different. It's also on a case-by-case basis. But my point is, tell your practitioner when things are going well so she can mark down, okay, I did this on this day, and it worked well for her. Hey, Cree. Miss you. Thank you, Glenn. Bill, we got to talk. I have such a busy day. I didn't really even have time to do this, but I was so pissed that I lost my fucking video last night. And I had such good commentary. I had all my clients blowing my head up last night, telling me how amazing I was, and all those commentaries just gone. My views, everything gone. So pissed. So fucking pissed. But anyway, it is what it is. So, any questions, y'all? Hey, Jojo. Jojo Angeloni, that's my boo right there. I love Jojo. She was checking everybody last night. She's like, oh, I only see, what did she say? She's like, there's 70 people and only 13 likes. Thank you, boo. She checked everybody. That's my girl. Yes, exactly. Don't show how desperate you are. So, it should be a turn-off if someone is not sure about you. You shouldn't be sure about them. Hold on. Where'd that comment go? Wait a minute. Where'd it go? You shouldn't be sure about that. So it should be a turn-off if someone is not sure about you. You shouldn't be sure about them either. No, because you want to get, people have to earn you. When you're a woman, okay, men are the chasers. Okay, they're the hunters. They're the natural born hunters. Women are the huntees. Okay, so you take men like that throw of chasing. Now, but it depends on the situation. Now, if a guy completely just like made himself look weak and like by a woman breaking up with him and all this, that, and the other, then he does have to kind of fall back. Like I said, it varies case by case. But the female human mind and the male human mind work two totally different ways. Okay, they like the hunt, they like the chase, and nobody likes anything that they can have too easily. Nobody. That's even with like clothes and shoes and cars and shit. When you can get a car that's like limited edition and all this other stuff, and they only make so many or whatever, rich people, they love that shit. Same thing with clothes, like for girls, like, oh, you have being the only one that has this pair of shoes because I only have one pair left at the store. Like, it's a psychological thing. That's why it's important to understand. That's why I'm teaching you guys this, to understand how psychology works, and also so you can implement that in your workings. Okay, like when you're doing a head work. It was so crazy. One time I had this client, this was a long time ago. It's one of my first clients. And I did a head work on this girl, right? And she left him, she left to a different country. And like, he took good care of her and stuff like that. And she didn't have to work. And she had a daughter, and he took care of her daughter and everything like that. So what I did was I did the head work, and I was like, you know, you're never gonna find a man like him. Like, you didn't even have to work. No man's gonna want to pay for you and your kid, and he loved your kid like his own. And I'm putting all this shit in her head. She literally called him like 3 days later. But see now, and this is why it's important to keep your practitioner notified. She actually got mad. She's like, oh, and I don't need you, and I could pay for my own stuff. And he didn't say anything. Like, this was all because it's going through her head. So like, she was like compensating for it. Like, she felt some type of way. So she's like, yeah, and just so you know, I'm independent, and I don't need you to pay for me or my daughter, and blah blah. And so I was like, okay, let me not bring that up no more. Like, you know, so that's why, you know, it's kind of important to keep updated, because the reason she was saying all that shit is because I was putting in her head like, bitch, you ain't never gonna find a better man like that. But that, you know, for her, the type of person that she was, you know, it kind of backfired, because so I had to take a different approach, which worked better. But my point was, that's why you want to keep up to date, because some things, you know, work differently for different people. She was the type of stubborn bitch that didn't like to hear that, you know, she had to rely on a man. But it was the truth. She was relying on him, you know. But she was trying to prove a point, like, oh, I don't need you to pay for me. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I never said that. She's like, I'm just saying. And I'm like, I told him, I was like, that's because I kept reiterating that in the head work. So you see, like, head works, for example, that's psychology. That's a spell using psychology, period. Another good tip is using perfume in your spell work, a perfume that you like to wear often, and try to get a good quality perfume. Don't get those like little cheap body sprays that everybody and their mother has. Okay, you want a unique scent. All right, like, might I recommend, I love like Chanel, Gucci, Armani. They're a little pricey, but a bottle should last you, it's like $100 and it should last you a long time. Get a good quality perfume and always smell good. Smell is actually more important than how you look, to be honest. Guys, just like us, we love a man that's, and this goes for men too. Nothing gets me more than a man that smells, dresses nice, and smells good. That is like super important. But so you use a specific perfume. You can use the perfume in the work, you know. So, and if you know, have a practitioner, which I haven't done that for any of my clients. I should do that, and because I have a lot of perfume. I collect perfume. Like, for my birthday, every day I always ask perfume. So my dad, my brother, my sister, they always get me perfume. So I have pretty much every perfume you can imagine. So I should ask if I may. I probably have at least one or two that you guys have. So I think I'll start doing that. But that's a really good thing to do, is use your, you know, like when you're doing a head work, spray your perfume and, you know, say, you know, you're going to smell me, you know, and every time they'll smell you, they'll literally smell you. Like, I swear to this day, sometimes I'll just randomly smell my mother's perfume. Oh, thank you, Gracie. Thank you, girl. Lynn, I talked to you on the phone, baby, and explained the rules and directions to you. You guys got to listen. See, that's the thing right there. honey, not to be in the live and then asking for that. When I talked to you and explained everything to you in detail. So that's, you know, a little confusing to me because I definitely, it's case by case, baby. I explained that to you. You update me, and as things happen, I will give you, I can't give you direction until I get updates from you every 2 to 3 weeks as they happen. But this is why during the consult, I gave you your directions. But go ahead and email me. One thing I don't like is when people talk about their, you know, let me just, because, you know, your birthday is Thursday. Do you know any birthday spells I can do? Yes. Okay, go to my New Year video. And all the spells that I talked about on that video, you could do on your birthday as well. Because that's the start of your new year. Shireen, I was on last night. You're live, but I could not see you. I don't recommend you do that spell on the new moon. Okay, there's only certain spells, love spells I'll do on the new moon. Usually for new love, and in that case, I'll use a 7-day candle, so it won't actually go out until the moon's waxing. That's the only reason. I recommend doing it on the full moon, not the new moon. And if I have a consultation with you, please listen to what I'm saying because it's very important. It's very important because I know based on your consultation what you need, what you should and shouldn't do. I explain how I work. I explain what I do and what I don't do. You know, I'm very, very clear in my consultations how I work. You know, and what my expectations of you are. So it's very important to just kind of pay attention to that. So Lynn, baby, I will email you. But you know, okay, what's your question? Tina, if your man hates perfume, then obviously it wouldn't work for him. Like I said, it's a case by case thing. Thank you, Race. And sometimes I'm a little tough on you guys. I really am. It's out of love, though, because let me tell you something. If I'm too oh, it's okay, you know, then you guys just repeat the same mistakes over and over and over again. Because trust me, I tried that shit. So now I'm just tough love. Okay, and don't forget, the reason why I get a little, unless your case already manifested, I don't like talking about an active case in live video, especially when you're using your real name. Because don't forget, we're in a public platform. We're a witch platform. And unfortunately, there's evil eye, there's jealousy, there's, you know, not to say I love a lot of my sister witches and brother witches, fellow witches on here. Cree's one of them. Okay, I have friends in the witch community, but not everybody's friends. There's jealousy. Hey, boo. Hey, Angela. Not everybody's friends in the witch community. There's a lot of competition. There's a lot of, you know, jealousy, envy. And I don't need people saying, oh, this person, you know, Kathy Jones, I'm just making that name up. Oh, she has an active case. Let me go ahead and send some energy to fuck her shit up real quick. Okay, so you guys got to think, even though I wish a bitch would, I think everybody pretty much learned what happens when they try me. That it's not a good idea. Because I've been tried in these YouTube streets before. Didn't end well for that person. Okay, but you never know who's watching. So you got to be very careful on what you speak on when you haven't acted. It's one thing for my babies who already manifested and saying, oh, you're the shit, blah, blah, blah. They're already done. But you're brand new and you're putting your business out there? No, I don't like that. Don't like that at all. For your own good. So I hope you understand that. Every time I see you look younger and younger. Sarah Basil. Yeah, Emily's cool people. I like her too. Me and her had a nice long chat. She's cool. I like her. We're supposed to exchange readings here soon. What does 666 say? Mark of the beast, the Holy Spirit. Meanwhile, his thing is 666. Mark of the beast, the Holy Spirit, you're practicing. You don't even know how to spell practicing, bro. Why don't you practice some fucking dictionary and fucking learn how to spell? You can't spell witchcraft or practicing. Like, you're pathetic. Let me tell you a little something. You Bible thumpers, you like to pick and choose what sins are worse than the other. Like, for example, there's 7 deadly sins, right? But you want to talk about witchcraft? Well, how about having sex before marriage? How about that? How about that? That's a sin. Why you talking about witchcraft? There's so many sins in the Bible. The whole book of Psalms is cursing people. Psalms 109, where they talk about wishing your child will be a beggar and your wife to be homeless or some shit. The whole Psalms 109 is a hex. May your children be beggars and your whatever. I can't remember exactly. Okay, so don't come in here talking about the Bible and all this and that. I have respect. You see how I wear a cross, but you guys take the Bible very literally. Okay, there's so many different sins in the Bible. Do you know men are not supposed to shave their head or their beards in the Bible? That's in the Bible. Look it up. Leviticus. I used to know the thing by heart. I'll look it up. I used to know the verse by heart. Leviticus 19. I want to say Leviticus 19:12, verse 36. Somewhere, it's in Leviticus, okay? Men are not supposed to shave their head or their beard. That's a sin too. So don't fucking come to me with any talk about the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran, because I will shut you down real quick. I'm a very intelligent person when it comes to religion. When it comes to anything, really. I'm hood, but I'm smart. Anyways. So. Anyway, is Lynn still in the room? Okay. Why can't we do a love binding if we aren't together anymore? Okay, so let's think about the concept of a binding. What does binding mean? Tell me what a binding means. What is it? What are you doing essentially? Movement, movement, movement. The fuck is movement? A binding is bind. It's like gluing something together, right? You're binding it in place. Just like when you're binding someone away, you're sticking them out of your lives, sticking them in place, right? So why would you bind a situation that is not in place? You're binding it, you're freezing it. So if you're apart, what are you doing? Does that make sense? What if you're both girls? How's the psychology on that? Woo, child, let me tell you about that. Okay, let me explain something about lesbians. Y'all move fast. You get in a relationship like lickety split. Like one day you meet, next day you're in love and you're planning fucking babies and living together and all within a week's time. Like, I don't know what it is. Gay men and lesbians, they all do it. And I don't give a fuck. I can say that shit because my brother's gay. I love me the gays. All right. Now, the psychology with two women is a very, very complex thing because here you have women, one being probably a little more masculine. Very rarely do I see two lipstick lesbians, that's what we call them in the South. I don't know what they call them, like girly, like to wear pretty stuff. Usually it's one is at least a little more masculine than the other. That's just facts. Not to offend anybody, even if they are two lipstick lesbians, one of them is a little more masculine than the other, always. So you kind of have to, it's really a case-by-case basis. It depends on the person. You have to understand that you're going to want to treat that like, so whoever's the masculine one is going to want to use the psychology of being like the male in the relationship. And the one who's less masculine would be the female. So it's the same principle as a hetero couple, except the one that's more, thinks more feminine, you're going to want to treat as, accordingly. But you guys move so fast in a relationship most of the time that, it's always bound to have problems because you guys tend to move fast. So like, for example, like, I've had clients that were in a lesbian relationship for like 4 or 5 years. Well, in lesbian years, that's like an eternity. That's a long time, and honestly, I think it has to do with like, gays and lesbians have their own community, like, so, they're very social and, I mean, I don't know. It's a lot more difficult, I'll tell you that. And a lot of, especially lesbian couples, a lot of the time, I want to say at least 60%, 70% still have, one or the other still have like a yearning for men in some way, in a sexual sense.